Donald Trump is doing everything he possibly can to distract, to deflect, and to cover up his Jeffrey Epstein scandal. But there is nothing he can do to stop people from confronting him to his face about it, which is exactly what we saw in a devastating and damning clip of Trump attacking a protester for doing just that. And it is especially damning in light of new reporting around Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's relationship that was shared directly from one of Epstein's victims. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into that clip of Donald Trump being called out to his face, I want to start with Maria Farmer, one of Jeffrey Epstein's victims, who detailed his relationship with Donald Trump.
Well, like Epstein said, he inherited him in the divorce. You know, he said, basically, you're going to see us together all the time. We're fixtures because in the divorce, I inherited Trump and Ghislaine inherited Ivana. So he said, you're not going to see him at the house the way you see Ivana, and you're not going to see her at the offices the way you see Trump. And, you know, it was just, it was a known thing, like among the staff and everyone, that they were best friends. And Epstein bragged about it. And I gave up 30 years to report this. And it's a very serious thing to fight the government. You know, it's been unbelievable. I've been fighting 2 cancers because of it.
Maria, when we reached out to the White House for a comment, they responded, and I'll just read for you what they said.
Okay.
Quote, the president was never in Epstein's office, and in fact, the president kicked him out of his club for being a creep. They then say that Trump, they're clear there. They say he was never in Epstein's office, which, of course, from the original incident that you're talking about is where this occurred, according to your recollection, at the Helmsley building in New York.
He was absolutely in the offices.
So what do you say when they give a response like this?
Yes. I say that they're being disrespectful to the fact that I have given up my entire life for this case just to have it investigated. And I'm really sorry for him that he's caught, but, you know, I don't know what to say to that. He's lying. I don't appreciate it. He was absolutely at the offices, and it was 9 o'clock at night. I thought it was inappropriate. But also, they were best friends at the time. So what I say to that is, I don't think he's really responding to the fact. And what does he mean, the offices? He needs to be specific, because he was in the Helmsley Palace offices.
It is undeniable that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were even more than friends or best friends. It was something so clearly more than that. MAGA can no longer deny it. And what is so important about what Maria Farmer has so bravely shared is detailing how she went to the authorities several times to tell the FBI to look into and to investigate Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We know that the FBI, at direction of the DOJ, has sorted through these documents, flagged any mention of Donald Trump, and it is because of testimony like that that we know the cover-up is taking place, and we know why Donald Trump is posting like this. In an effort to distract, Donald Trump wrote on Truth Social, Obama himself manufactured the Russia hoax, Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, and numerous others participated in this, the crime of the century. Irrefutable evidence, a major threat to our country. I think my biggest concern with that post is, does Donald Trump know the word irrefutable? Someone clearly wrote that for him. He's definitely got a team of muck it up, find distractions. People are like going through the old tape. They're like, what can we pull out of here? How can we get really racist and talk about the Washington Commanders or rile them up with some Rosie O'Donnell? Donald Trump wants his base united again. He wants them behind him. He does not want to be talking about Jeffrey Epstein anymore, as we know has been the case for some time. Again, this didn't just start now. This has been a years-long cover-up, and we saw that in 2020 when Donald Trump was confronted to his face with a photo of him and Epstein, and he attacked and threw out the protester who was showing it.
And we're going to stop it. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Go home to your mom, darling. Go home. Get him out of here. Out.
Now, if that was not a damning enough indictment of Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, I don't know what is. It's again, I struggle. I know these MAGA morons, they are cultists. Their brains are rotted and broken. How did you not know back then? They clearly just didn't care. It really is, to me, just this political catch-all for MAGA to talk about the elites is what Epstein was. It was a very easy political cudgel, something that they could lean on without actually addressing the root of their real problem, which was with the wealthy donors who owned the Republican Party, working class voters who vote for Republicans being screwed over by the very people who fund the GOP. Those are the elites they should have wanted to go after. And the same way that them wanting to go after Pam Bondi is nonsensical, as she is simply an extension of Donald Trump. But thankfully, some Republicans are beginning to ask questions of Bondi, who will certainly trip over any of her words that she delivers in Congress, and it might be sooner rather than later, considering what this Republican just said.
Even within the GOP, including staunch Trump supporter Senator Josh Hawley, who late tonight told CNN's Manu Raju that he wants more information released and congressional hearings, saying the Justice Department, quote, ought to do full transparency and we ought to have hearings on it. His comments come after Ohio Republican Warren Davidson said he would like to see Attorney General Pam Bondi testify before Congress.
I don't really see why we would do anything other than bring Pam Bondi in and say, to committee of jurisdiction and say, please explain.
I mean, would you want to hear her testify, Pam Bondi?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on that committee, but, I really would like the committee of jurisdiction to bring her in and say, hey, you start this off, you've got binders, please explain. We are led to believe there are going to be some prosecutions. If we're going to prosecute, we assume there's going to be convictions. And I think that's really the disconnect.
Of course, Pam Bondi should testify before Congress. And I ask, Pam, if you feel so confident, if you're bang on right, if there's no cover-up, if it's really Biden and Obama, shouldn't you want to tell us about that? Wouldn't that be a big win for the conspiracy folks that love you so much? Wouldn't Donald be thrilled with you sharing that information under oath in Congress? Come on, come hang out. Why not testify? Go to the House Judiciary Committee. I'm sure Jamie Raskin will treat you very, very nicely, Pam. He'll just be super easygoing. He's not going to ask you tough questions. Oh, no, that's actually not true. Jamie Raskin will hold him accountable, as we can see him doing right here.
Hey, everybody, it's Jamie Raskin coming to you from the Rayburn House Office building. The Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee, after several days of agitating publicly about it, sent a letter to Chairman Jim Jordan demanding that we have a bipartisan hearing where we call the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, the FBI Director, Kash Patel, the Deputy Director, Dan Bongino, and other relevant witnesses to come in to give us all of the information that they have on the Epstein files. This is a situation that has caused the country to be in an absolute uproar now, from left to right. MAGA people, progressive Democrats, people across the political spectrum are all saying, come clean with the Epstein files. Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender who ran basically a human trafficking child sex ring. He was convicted of that. He was facing further charges on it when he took his own life. Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and others in the Republican Party have been for years and for months arguing that there is a huge conspiracy to go along with the crimes that were committed by Jeffrey Epstein. And all of them have been demanding that the FBI and the government release those files. They're now running the government, and they've been saying for weeks now they would not release the Epstein files. But after broad public condemnation of this position, after we made our demand for a bipartisan hearing in the Judiciary Committee, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, said that he favored the Department of Justice coming clean with all of the evidence. We favor all of the evidence, and we favor everybody involved coming to testify. Donald Trump has now said that he favors release of the credible evidence as determined by Pam Bondi. Then he proceeded to condemn most of the evidence, saying it was produced by Barack Obama, it was produced by Joe Biden. Look, all of that is a massive distraction, and it's also an attempt to create a pretext and a justification for Pam Bondi not turning over all the evidence. Just turn over all the evidence. The members of Congress and the American public will adjudicate its credibility and its relevance. Okay, we don't need Donald Trump and his subordinate Pam Bondi deciding what's credible and what's not.
As much as we need to continue to hold Republicans' feet to the fire over their betrayal of their promise to release these files, not only on behalf of Donald Trump, but importantly, this is a class issue. Y'all can tell me in the comments if you are tired of me repeating this, but I just have to get this point across as much as I possibly can. I've seen a lot of Democrats try to maneuver the issue and say Donald Trump broke this promise, and he also broke a promise in the big ugly bill, which I'm like, yes, it's a good pivot. You're talking about these things in the context of each other, but like not really. Go after the class issue that's present here. Well, when you try to make that real hard pivot, it kind of feels like you don't care about either thing, that you just see them as political tools, but they're not. Epstein was a political tool for Donald Trump. He exploited victims, and he is now making sure that the abusers of those victims are protected. That's what is so important. That's like the 1,000, 10,000, however many thousand feet view you want of this thing, is that Donald Trump fundamentally, through the cover-up of his relationship with Epstein, is covering for so many other people. That's what's being allowed to happen here. And does MAGA care? No, of course not. If you want to get mad at elites and institutions and the powerful and Hollywood and George Soros or cabal of, I don't know, whatever word you want to call it, it's these people right now being protected by Donald Trump. And if you can't see that, you don't want to. But we're going to continue to try to make it clear on this show every single day. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.